Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's edition of CINEKYD Television Theater. I'm Bob Clark, the Executive Director of CINEKYD Enterprises Incorporated, and I'm so pleased that you could be with us for tonight's show. For the next 30 minutes, you'll be entertained by the members of our student body, kids who range in age from 7 to 18 years. They come to us from 40 neighboring communities, and they are a part of our production team. We thought this evening that it would be nice for all of us to take a look at just what happens here at CINEKYD, what the campus is like, and the kind of projects that the kids are engaged in each and every day. Chronologically, it's always the most exciting time of the year during the summer, and summer of 1983 was no exception. We probably mounted our most sophisticated and most ambitious production schedule. We had more kids, we shot more film and tape than we had any other year. It was a lot of hard work, but an awful lot of fun. And here is a segment designed and developed by our mobile video department that takes you behind the scenes during the summer of 1983.
We asked some kids and staff members of CINEKYD what has changed in the past year and what activity they had the best time doing.
Getting more involved in public relations than I used to. I used to, like, I would send a letter to one person, and now I'm into the full scale thing. I'm sending to major magazines and stuff, and I'm more into that. I kind of had fun doing. It was very silly, but I had fun doing Daddy Hootie.
The track program has become a lot more professional and advanced in that the talent and the technicians can work more closely to get a TV show done, both written, directed, and produced all in a week's time. And the talent handles themselves on set a lot better. You know, where in a situation where they have to have hour-long shoot condensed into 45 minutes, and the constant movement of the cameras and the talent, they have adjusted really well. Whereas last year it was a lot, you know, more confused and frustrating.
CINEKYD has grown a lot ever since 1980. It's like geometrically, it's just totally increasing. The size, the number of people, and the standards are getting much higher. But, you know, CINEKYD theater we had before, and, you know, black and white, and everything was pretty sloppy there. And it's just gotten much quicker, a lot faster. The best time I had was when I got to direct the radio show. I mean, I've been in the radio show for a long time, and I've never gotten to direct before, and this time, you know, it was like a first. I was the big cheese there.
We've got more equipment, and during the summer, we're not using film, we're using video. Daddy Hootie, probably because we had little time to do it, and because it always involved something that was going on, and you knew what was going on, because on, like, Skeleton, you didn't know what was going on until the very end, and how it was being summed up, because you knew what was going to happen.
CINEKYD has really grown tremendously, not only in space, but in kids and projects. Well, we're getting into a lot of areas now down in the building. In the 6-month period, we should have the whole building. And each of the kids now we're getting so many kids now, but each is still an individual in that they get individual projects, such as yours right now. And that's a big change because in it used to be well, everybody works together, but a lot of kids have independent projects which they're really working on, a lot more sophisticated individual projects. Okay, it's not just making signs or something like that, which I'm not knocking that, but I'm just saying, you know, they're getting more into the technical field also. And just it's grown so much, and there's so many more students. And a big thing that I notice is there's a lot more new students. Like this summer we have, I think it's 3 kids from New Jersey coming up for the summer program, and we have one that's coming from, I'll think of it, Reading, thank you. Coming from Reading, which is a long distance to come. And there's a lot of new faces. So that's how it's changed, basically, I think.
The start of CINEKYD summer programs begins here at Orientation Day.
Orientation, like, they interview people, and like the boss talks to everybody and you sign up and everything. Then you get to meet a lot of new friends, and also we give round the building tours to people who are new here.
I thought it was an interesting program, and that I was going to like it, which I do. During orientation, well, everybody has to run through some lines on a script, and like during Whiplash, we had to do walking, like certain walking techniques, and just personality.
Well, I thought it was a worthwhile experience to be in. Although I was in Camp CINEKYD, it still seemed very exciting to me. I've been here before, so I knew I was going to enjoy the summer, and I thought this one would be even better because the more you do things that you like, the more you get more used to them.
You go and get registered, to find out your name, you get interviewed in front of a television camera, staff members will ask you questions, and then if you're new to the campus, you will, somebody will take you out on a tour.
You do an audition tape and you get your picture taken.
It's going to be a pretty exciting summer, and there's a lot of people there, and it's a pretty good orientation.
Well, my first orientation day at CINEKYD took place in Mr. Clark's basement, and it's really hard to remember exactly what my first impressions were. I just remembered that I guess I was impressed with the equipment then, which really wasn't too impressive.
Would you tell us your name, please?
You go in front of a camera, you just give your name and just an example of the way you act or can express yourself.
Orientation, like, they interview people, and like the boss talks to everybody and you sign up and everything. Then you get to meet a lot of new friends, and also we give round the building tours to people who are new here.
During orientation, what you basically do is you do take people who are not familiar with the place and make them familiar with the place. You also, you know, they take photographs of the person, and now they videotape and talk to you and like ask questions, and they ask you, have you any experience with communications before, stuff like that.
Also during orientation, and especially at movie night, for patrons, members, and guests of CINEKYD, the store is open for refreshments. The store, otherwise known as Rod's Place, serves a large variety of candy, drinks, and especially popcorn.
One of the responsibilities of the makeup and costumes crew is to create face masks for any particular character. Here we see Peggy Restiello and Jay Kushwara as they create a mask for the character known as the Chameleon, as Peggy explains the process.
The first step in mask making, in latex mask making, is to create a sketch so that you have your ideas down on paper and work from that. You have to know what the character is going to do in the film as much as possible in advance, because they have to be constructed differently. They have to be constructed in pieces if it's a more active role. If it's just a headshot, then it can be a one-piece mask. We usually take over from there and prepare their faces by washing them or shaving if they have beards or mustaches, pulling the hair back off their face, and lie them down on some pillows with plastic covering. The next step is to mix up dental alginate. Dental alginate is kind of the consistency of oatmeal when you first start out. It's what dentists use to cast your teeth with, to do the first impression of your teeth when they're going to put braces on you, if they're checking for cavities or how your bite is. And we use that. It smells pretty good. It's not uncomfortable for the actor. We put that on their face. It's like a facial. It's actually pretty relaxing. And that hardens in about a minute to a minute and 15 seconds. Depends on the temperature of the water that you use. The hotter the water, the faster it sets. And so you need to make your actor as comfortable as possible. Their faces have to be immobile for at least 15-20 minutes at a time. Once that sets, we stiffen it with plaster bandages. We lay them crisscross and smooth them out. The plaster bandages are to support the alginate because we have to crack the whole piece off of the face, peel the whole piece off of the face, and then cast in the alginate. The alginate provides a smooth base, a smooth negative for us to pour something else into to create a positive. Once we make the positive in dental stone, we put clay over that if we want to build up the features and create the face that we actually want. In the case of this year's film, we wanted a monster. We could also have done old age, or we could have done eyepieces, but we decided to go with a full face mask. Pour latex into the negative, let that set, put the two pieces together and let them dry overnight. Once they're dry, you bake them in an oven, a slow oven, for about 2 hours. And when you're done that, you have a foam latex mask.
From orientation to pre-production makeup, The characters are costumed and makeup is perfected. We are now set for the first shoot of the summer. Many of the CINEKYDs were prepared and excited about this shoot, and this is what they had to say.
We're gonna go from a Western to an adventure film. It doesn't really affect my crew at all because I'm still photography. We take pictures, develop pictures, do pictures for publicity.
My opinion of video compared to film? Video is a lot easier to handle, a lot easier to work with. Video, it's a lot sharper, lot sharper color, a lot sharper picture. The sound's a lot better, and it'll be quicker to edit.
How about that? Summer generally means vacation, but that's not the case here. Our boys and girls are probably busier during June, July, and August than they are at any other time. During the school year, however, we attempt to balance the educational needs of our young participants with a very active, a very ambitious production program. Now, I'd like you to join me as we take a peek at what is happening during this 1983-84 school year. The first of our programs is called TRACK. It's an instructional seminar that meets each and every Wednesday night between 7 o'clock and 9:15. It's here that young people, I suppose junior and senior high age, kids who are about 12 to 18 would participate in this program. Once each week, this constitutes the instructional seminar, and TRACK provides the kids with a chance to get together as a group and to work on any number of projects, from graphics design to television rehearsal to the building and preparation of sets. The whole family of junior and senior high age kids come together and work as a large team. Tyro meets every Saturday morning between the hours of 10 and 12 noon. Here is a program of instruction designed for boys and girls of elementary age, kids who would start at 7 and perhaps as 6th graders go to 11 years, participate in a very specially designed seminar that introduces all the phases of communication to them and at the same time gives them hands-on experience with just about every kind of communication equipment. They work in film, video, radio. They're also involved in makeup and costume and quite a number of things. They, of course, produce their own weekly series that you'll be seeing on this television show. And this year it's called SG2, The Lighthouse Mystery. Much of what happens at CINEKYD, much of what makes it tick, occurs on our production campus. Now, we're located at 129 Turwood Road in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. This is what we call the Brady Television Studio. It was probably the first area that really provided us with a production home back in 1977 when we located at this address. Adjacent to the television studio is the control room. And here you see the heart of the video communication system. Right next door to the control room is the audio lab. Here, specialized audio effects and much of the sound work for CINEKYD Radio Playhouse is produced. Now, if we continue down the hallway, we go into the CINEKYD Resource Center. This is where the Creative Radio Division works. And their shows are heard twice a month on 89.3 WCSD FM. It's an interesting and highly creative kind of audio showcase that allows our kids to mix music and news. Right next door is the Cinema Arts Division. While we are heavily into video, as the kids say, we still recognize film as one of the primary forms of communication. And our young people work in both 16mm and Super 8mm motion pictures. Adjacent to the Cinema Arts Division is our photo lab, and we're in the process of going from black and white to color facilities here as well. Right next door is our Graphic Arts and Miniatures Division. Here at CINEKYD, the creative arts are just a little bit different than you would find in an art class for young people. Yes, we draw pictures. Yes, we work in a variety of media. But we also have an extensive need for miniatures, smaller versions of buildings and interiors that allow us to make our productions look very, very professional on a very low budget. And this, of course, is a real pride and joy. This is our new makeup and costume division. It's a much larger facility, allowing us to really spread out when it comes to designing some of the very spectacular makeup effects that are a part of our productions. Right next door to makeup and costume is the mobile video department. This has to be one of the most attractive suites on the campus. It too boasts a complete computerized editing facility that allows us to work in 3/4-inch, beta, and VHS video, and it gives us a second editing station. But facilities are only part of the CINEKYD operation. What really makes it tick are the people, the teachers, the people who actually work with the kids and provide the basis for instruction. Mr. Jeff Worthington is by day a media technologist. At CINEKYD, he's responsible for the production of this particular series. He is assisted in that regard by Mr. Ralph Abbott, who does double duty. In addition to working with our track program and the teenagers as sort of a technical director, as a 5th grade elementary teacher, he is, of course, our prime candidate to run the Tyro program. Mrs. Gwen Worthington works in advertising. She has a substantial amount of experience in the real world of communication. She brings that to CINEKYD in her work with boys and girls who produce CINEKYD Radio Playhouse. Mr. John Peterson is responsible for the Creative Radio Division. He is also charged with producing a radio show, and as I said, slightly different from Radio Playhouse. Sharing the office with him is graduate assistant Scott Wolfson. This is Scott's first year on staff. Some of you may recognize him as the venerable old Uncle Flywheel, a role which he'll continue this year, making him one of the very few staff members who actually appears in a CINEKYD segment. Mr. Dan Oceanreither is the administrative assistant here at CINEKYD. He's a senior at Temple University and has been involved with the CINEKYD program since it first began many, many years ago. Here, primarily, he works in the cinema arts. The kids who work in film or have anything to do with film, such as family movie nights or the production of various featurettes, fall under his jurisdiction. Across the hallway, Mr. George Takumas, a graduate assistant, a student at Montgomery County Community College, is responsible for our graphics department. We are pleased as well that George, like quite a number of the other staff members, is a former CINEKYD student. Mr. Michael May is a videographer, and he works professionally producing television shows in an educational setting and has quite a bit of experience in cable production. Here at CINEKYD, he is primarily responsible for the mobile production crew. Quite a bit of the footage that you're looking at now was produced by his department. His neighbor on campus, Mr. Todd Irwin, is also a student at the Montgomery County Community College. He's a graduate assistant here at CINEKYD, and he is responsible for running the makeup and costume division. And you know what makes the staff so very special is the fact that they're all volunteers. They're here working with the kids at CINEKYD because they want to. It's the kind of genuine concern that sets this organization apart. It's a wonderful thing when people with that much talent are willing to give up so much free time to share their gifts with our young people. And now, I think it's about time for us to take a look at the CINEKYD bulletin board and find out what's happening on campus.
Hi, I'm Mark Weaver, and this Saturday night at CINEKYD's Family Movie Night, we will present Brian Keith and Ricardo Montalban in Joe Panther. A touching story of a young Indian boy's journey to manhood. Joe Panther is proud to be a Seminole Indian with rich heritage in the Florida Everglades, but he wants more. He wants the best of what the white man's world can offer also. Tickets are $1.15 in advance and $1.75 at the door. The show starts at 7:30. For more information, call 659-4696. I'll see you there.
Okay, thank you, and I sincerely hope that you'll be able to join us at movie night or any number of activities that take place here at CINEKYD. Having seen the operation and taken a look at the staff, you had to notice how many kids enjoy being here at CINEKYD. We'd like to open the door and welcome any young person between the age of 7 and 18 who'd like to become a part of CINEKYD. It's as simple as going to your phone right now and giving us a call. Our number is 659-4696. And what we'll do is take you through the campus and let you see firsthand what you've seen on the show tonight. Having visited with us, then we'd like to incorporate your talents into our organization. You don't need any experience. We have programs for youngsters and teenagers as well. Come on down and see what it's all about. Until next week then, same time, same cable channel. This is Bob Clark. Good night and God bless.